Hello everyone, I'm your boy BenBoy, and today I'm going to be talking about a legendary game. A game that will be spoken about for generations. And this game is called Mafia 3. And this is probably by far the best... This has probably the best story and overall gaming experience that I have had in 2016 thus far. And I haven't even beaten the game all the way through yet. I mean, I just think this game is fucking amazing because it has fluid gunplay. The setting is just what I wanted. It's not too futuristic. It's not too far in the past. It's like just right in a past setting that I personally wanted to see. And it definitely takes the cake for the top sandbox RPG this year, at least in my book. And also, at the time of recording this, I have not touched Watch Dogs 2 at all. I've not played that game, and Mafia 3 probably takes the cake for the story and everything so far. It is fucking amazing. Also, just to inform you guys that at some point in the future, either after this video has come out or right before this video has come out, I will be live streaming this game at some point. Just be cautious that in this video I will be telling you up to where I played off camera so far, so then that way when I stream you guys aren't left in the dark wondering what the hell happened. So I will basically try my best to gather gameplay footage of generally where some of the events in the story so far have taken place and put it up on screen so you guys can see right around the areas where I'm talking about and get a feel for the place and everything. So in Mafia 3, you play as Lincoln Clay, a black man, in 1968 Louisiana. That setting right off just screams racial segregation, and there is, but I think the game gives an ominous representation of the life of a black man during these times. I mean, there is the N-word thrown at your main character. There are things, there are shops in the game that you walk into, and the shopkeep will walk up to you and ask you to leave because you are a black man, and the game flat out tells you this. They acknowledge it. The studio that made it under 2K, they have a disclaimer at the beginning of the game. This does not at all represent the company's feelings and beliefs towards black people. And, so far, I mean, the fact that the company did that and wasn't afraid to throw all the racial slurs and all this racial shit at the character already makes this game out of 5 out of 5, just because the developers were super fucking ballsy. So, Lincoln himself is an orphan that was made from a white parent and a black parent came together and made him, which is very taboo in these times for a white person and a black person to have a child. And then under some unknown circumstances, I mean, they might have told you in the game through subtlety, but I have not picked up on that subtlety, and I at this point do not know what happened to his parents, but he became an orphan. When he became an orphan, he was put into an orphanage, obviously. And when the orphanage was closed, he was given to his new father, Sammy Robinson. Sammy had adopted another son named Ellis, and little did Lincoln know that Sammy was a black mobster, meaning that he was a very renowned black mobster in New Orleans, this fictitious New Orleans that this game takes place in. Later on, Lincoln decides that this is not his calling in life, and he wants a sense of belonging in some other way other than just in New Bordeaux, which is the name of the city that is basically a parody of New Orleans. So he joins the U.S. military, and he serves in the Vietnam War. And he was assigned to just some normal unit, like some armored unit, I believe, but then he actually graduated to a special forces level of military before he was then later discharged and sent back home. After being discharged from the military, Lincoln heads home to find Sammy and Ellis in trouble with some Haitian mobsters. Now, Lincoln makes quick work of these Haitians, goes to their base in the bayou, and kills their soon-to-be-discovered fake leader. Basically, the fake leader that was put there just in case of an assassination attempt, like what Lincoln did, happened. And so right after that, Sal Marcano, who is the Don of the crime family of the same name, basically tries to pull off a heist on the New Bordeaux Federal Reserve, which he enlists the help of Lincoln and his brother Ellis and the father, all to help him pull off this heist for around $6 million. The heist was successful, and at the very last minute, while they were celebrating in the Robinsons' bar, Georgie and Sal betray them, and they shoot Lincoln in the head, kill Ellis and Sammy, and this pisses Lincoln off. Lincoln actually survives because the bullet hit his skull, kind of like bounced off, and then just grinded against his head. Like the bullet like hit his head and just grazed the side of his head. So he actually like lived, and Sammy and Ellis were killed. So Lincoln, obviously super duper pissed off, goes for revenge. And I'm not going to get into the exact events that happen. I know at one point there's this crazy fucking shootout in like this this water-bogged amusement park. It was really creepy. There was a clown and like some fucked up circus music playing as I was running around shooting these mobsters. It was actually pretty funny and also really scary. But along the way in the game you meet some really cool characters, all of which of those characters feel alive, like they could be real people, you know. And you get into a lot of gunfights, kill a lot of mobsters, like a lot of people. I'm pretty sure I'm only like probably not even 5 hours into the campaign, and I already have killed probably hundreds upon thousands of mobsters. It is absolutely ridiculous. So moving on from the actual story, I'm just gonna explain a little bit about the gunplay of the game, like what it's like to actually play and stuff. You can drive cars, you can walk around on foot. Specifically going to talk about combat right now. This game is a smooth third-person shooter, much like GTA 5, and the gunplay is also easy, with the game actually offering you a selection between like auto-aiming and free aiming. So I believe there is a completely free aim option, there is a soft target, and then a hard target. Which I'm guessing the soft one, which is the one that I have selected, is that the radius at which you snap to them on your screen is smaller, and it just snaps to them, and then it gives you control. Whereas I'm guessing the hard snap has a bigger radius on your screen, and when you snap to them, you can just hold the button, and it would still follow them. So I'm guessing that's what happens, but don't quote me on that, because I haven't played on any other setting other than the soft aim. It also gives you a selection of difficulty at the very beginning of the game, and I highly suggest playing on easy for the first bit of the game before you bump up the difficulty. I believe you can bump up the difficulty later on in the game, but I would suggest starting off on easy, because even on easy I died a bunch just getting used to the controls and stuff, because a lot of the controls are not a traditional first-person shooter. Obviously L2 is aim, R2 is shoot, or on Xbox it's left trigger and right trigger and stuff, but like in terms of there's a cover system, taking cover and vaulting over things and sprinting and crouching, it's all like different controls. So just recommend playing your first few missions on easy, then bumping up the difficulty, because the controls are a little wonky. So far, just on gunplay alone and the story, the game is an easy 5 out of 5 for me. Just easy. Except for when you actually start getting into the cover system. The cover system is amazing. The cover system is absolutely necessary for both the stealth, covert approaches, which are possible, and there's stealth takedowns, you know, and everything. You come up behind them and you hit circle and everything. and even gunfights where you just go in guns blazing, you know, loud as well. Cover is absolutely necessary. But it's very, very clunky in terms of you can snap and latch right onto cover objects that you either didn't want to go to, and if you did want to go to them, you may stick to it in a way that you were not expecting you to do. You know, you may look at an object and think, oh, I'm gonna take cover, you know, this way, but then like Lincoln. So moving on from the gunplay aspect, we have the driving. Now, the cars, just aesthetically, the cars in this game are really nice. I personally like them because they're like, a lot of them are old muscle, like good old American muscle, and they do feel time accurate. They look time accurate when you like, you know, the HUD and like everything about them is pretty time accurate. Except the actual controls of the car are just unbalanced. Every car that you drive feels like you're driving a land boat, and you just overall have almost a lack of control when driving these cars. If you're gonna drive over like 90 miles an hour in this game, make sure that you use your brakes a lot and you actually drive under 90 for the most part, because the minute you go over 90, turning is absolute garbage, and you can hit circle or B on Xbox to use the handbrake, but the handbrake completely almost 180s you almost every time unless you actually set out in like free roam to try your best. Like, unless you actually practice using the handbrake, you are going to 180 almost every single time. I can actually drift in this game now, but it does take some practice. Like, I probably had to practice for legitimately like anywhere between 20 minutes to a half hour to get down drifting and using the handbrake to turn sharper. So that is a little bit difficult. And I mean, the game is made by 2K, so I mean, really, honestly, what do you expect? They make sports games, not fucking, you know, sandbox RPGs like GTA, okay? They're not used to having your character get in a car and drive. They're used to having your character run down a fucking court and shoot a basketball. Now, in terms of the game's looks, Mafia 3 is a beautiful game. It stunningly captures a 1960s Louisiana ridiculously well. From ghettos to cities, even to the Louisiana Bayou, the game is definitely worth some sort of attention from players or from just, you know, gamers everywhere. That this game is just absolutely beautiful. Its rain effects, the way the characters, you know, coat flaps in the wind and shit, just overall, it just looks fantastic. And it is definitely a selling point for this game. And just to wrap up, all in all, Mafia 3 is a beautiful game full of unique and realistic characters and things to do, like even lewd collectibles and paintings, like Playboy magazines and stuff are the collectibles in this game, to finding parts, to wiretaps, to city communications. So, overall, I give Mafia 3 a 4 out of 5. Hits the spot with amazing gunplay, story, and visuals, but falls just a little bit short on the driving and the little bit of cover mechanics that can get in the way and be a little annoying. So anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you found it useful. If you're on the fence about buying this game with some extra Christmas money and you haven't got it already, hopefully maybe I helped, you know, you guys, maybe a viewer that doesn't even know me and is new to the channel, or one of my friends who that I told about this video or happened to find this video and was like, hey, Ben, you know, pretty much reviewed this game. So those are my thoughts on the game. That's basically what I know of the game so far. Streams of this game are coming very soon. I've caught you up basically on the story thus far from what I know. So I hope you all enjoyed the video. Leave a like, subscribe, and as always, I'll see you all in the next video or live stream. Bye-bye.
I want you to show me how to get to know someone like you, someone like you. I want you to know me, 'cause I know then you'll see we could be true.